Hey guys, welcome to the Color Me Mike podcast. So just a quick disclaimer up here at the top. Anything said during this podcast only reflects on me and or the guest. Sonity has nothing to do at all with anything that's being said here. Sonity is just a cool boba milk tea shop in Fremont, California that is kind enough to let us record the podcast here at their shop and kind enough to hook us up with some boba milk tea drinks. So everybody just chill and enjoy the episode. Have you done a podcast before, Eric?
I haven't. I'm able to adjust this?
Yeah. You can adjust it. You're not going to break it. So you want to keep it about a fist away from your mouth.
Okay.
All right. So you... Come on, so a fist, you don't have that big of a fist.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's like this, it's just like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I was on stage.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
hey. Like, dude, I know you're black, man. I was like,
that's
no,
true.
fist. Like,
well, you always say, dude, okay, is this like PG-13?
No,
like,
you say whatever you like.
They have that saying, resting bitch face, right? And it's like to de-escalate a situation. I'm like, they should have that for like people like me, like loud black people that talk loud in public. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need that type of saying. I just let them know, like, hey, I'm not mad. I just talk loud, bro. Like,
no, that's why I really appreciate the people here at Sonity. I'm bringing a bunch of comics in. We're gonna talk about some crazy shit. We're gonna talk loud. We're gonna be laughing. But it's a win-win. It's free advertising for them.
Yeah.
It's like
this is awesome, dude. It looks great in here. This is a great studio for a podcast. It's tight. It's
well, you know what? I'm a big fan of comedians in cars getting coffee. I love that whole vibe,
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do my own version of it, but make it, boba milk tea because I'm Asian.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I have to announce that I'm Asian as if people can't tell. Well, if you're listening to this, you can't tell. It's not
I wouldn't pick it out right away. Yeah, but yeah, once you said we're in a boba tea joint, I was like, okay, all right, man.
This guy's definitely Asian.
I placed it now. I see the connection.
Ooh, but like the podcast is already off to a great start. You booked the gig just outside with Jorge.
True,
It's like
for real, dude. I appreciate. Dude, we'll start with that. I appreciate you inviting me, and dude, I do. I'm in the parking lot now. I got work to do. I gotta go to Santa Cruz and do some work. This is tight.
I'm a kingmaker. I make things happen,
bro. I owe you big time for this, dude. For real, man.
How long you been doing? I mean, I never do an intro for my guests. I always forget. So Eric Newton, he's this Bay Area comic out of Oakland. How long you been doing stand-up, Eric?
About 7 years now.
Yeah.
So before pandemic, I was doing it. But I would say like the last 2 years I've been going, really my main focus.
Just a little bit closer.
No problem,
this is adjustable. You're not gonna break it. You can move it up and down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There you go. Yeah.
Tight. I like that. That feels cool. Yeah. I can still see you. I'm like, hey, he's got lying to me. I gotta look in his eyes.
It's not like covered here in the mic.
But yeah, I'm Eric Newton. I've been doing comedy for like about 7 years, I would say. And then kind of like various aspects of comedy. When I first started, I was hitting stand up really hard. Then I got into a bunch of improv. Then I started doing some sketch writing. So yeah, just any form of comedy to me is like I'm putting them all into it. I love it. So yeah, but kind of now I'm mostly focused on like the stand up and just writing comedy for the most part. Is like my two main focuses for the last, I'll say 2-3 years. I've been going at that real hard.
Oh wow, yeah, you definitely. When I hear people like you who's been doing it for 7 years already, it just makes me realize how much of 2 years in, you could say you're a comedy baby, right? So if 2 years a person is a comedy baby, right now I'm a comedy zygote. Or maybe not even a zygote. The guy just put it in right now. Maybe he hasn't blown his load yet. At 5 months in, it's fair to say that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's still time to plan B you, bro. So like
I'm right on that edge, just getting closer to 6 months.
But you know what? I have a good feeling you're gonna make it, dude. Like you're off to a good start. You have me on your podcast. I mean, that's already like you're definitely moving in the right direction, my friend. I can tell you're gonna make it. You'll be around, bro.
There you go. That's the big signal. You gotta have Eric on your podcast. It feels good things.
I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's a good start. But you're a funny, likable dude, and I mean that, dude. I feel like the comedy community, it benefits from people like you, because a lot of comedians that they have been doing it for a long time, and they get very jaded and very angry, and it comes out on stage. And I think like especially right now, like audiences, I mean, unless you're really really good at that, your act is that, and I like people that's being friendly and I happy on stage again. I haven't seen that for a while out here. So
you're like that.
Yeah, that's definitely me. I'm always gonna keep that. I always say, I wouldn't mind if other comedians. It was more, sometimes you'll go to a show and it'll be like 6 or 7, like just all angry comedians. And but after you see like 3 or 4, you're kind of like you start to feel like burnt out almost. You know what I mean? Like we gotta freshen it up. So I appreciate people like you in the biz, bro.
Do you think that's something that's just unavoidable after you're doing it for like 7-10 years? You're just gonna get a little bitter and jaded, especially if you're not where you hope you would be.
Oh, definitely, dude. I mean, I definitely understand it. And I have to admit, like I always tell myself like I'm able to be happy and friendly because I have the privilege of like my life is easy. Like if I had to be like, I gotta get this gig, I gotta to pay my rent, it'd be different. And if I had to do that for 7 years straight, I might be probably more angry on stage as well, so I can't knock their struggle. It's definitely understandable, and I realize like, I happen to be looking in a very lucky situation where comedy is always still fun for me right now, and I'm grateful for that. But I know, I understand why some people, they've been doing it forever. They're like, dude, I'm still performing in bars. Well, I'm still performing for like drink tickets.
I've run into people who are still like doing just open mics. They've been doing it for years. It's like, whoa.
And then I have to be fair too. There's some level of personal accountability, right? Like some people have to admit, like maybe they're just not that good. Like I mean, comedy is hard, dude. Like I put in a hell of work. Like I think people like us that are good, we make it look a bit easier than it actually is. But I think I think some people get into it thinking like, oh, I'm just funny, that'll be enough to carry me. And there's actually there's a lot of work on the outside of just being funny.
It's funny, I was talking with Jorge about there's a lot of parallels between filmmaking and comedy, and that's definitely something that happened in filmmaking too, especially when you're studying. There are a lot of people, I'm going to talk a little bit louder, there's a lot of noise going on, but that's what's great about these mics, because we're talking right into them, and actually a lot of that stuff gets drowned out with our voice. We don't really pick it up too much.
I think it adds the authenticity of the boba experience that we're having right now.
That's where the video aspect comes in handy, because when they watch it on video, the trick is if you're going to have noise in your video, you just kind of have to show the context of where that noise is, and people tend to accept it. Listen in audio, maybe not so much, but
that makes sense.
Anyway, what I was saying is, I've noticed when I was studying, I studied for 1.5 years, and then at that point, it was just about really learning on the job and really teaching yourself and studying on your own. But there was a lot of people that came into filmmaking because they just liked the idea of being a filmmaker, but they didn't realize how much work it actually took to make a good film or video, and a lot of people just dropped off by the wayside because they weren't gonna last. They weren't able to do. So it's the same thing in comedy.
Definitely, dude, 100%, dude, and like it's just like and it's a good and a bad thing, like some people are there's a thing like I'm not knocking it with naturally funny, but that is a good start. But then it's a good base. It's a good base to start with, and I've seen the opposite. I've seen people that are not funny naturally talking to them, but they're great on stage. Like they perfected their act, like because that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's a business, and we're supposed to be doing it for the fans. That's how I always look at it. My main priority, my main responsibility is like I want the fans to enjoy this. And I think a lot of comedians, they go in there and they're kind of like, I'm smarter than the fans, so that's why you guys should adore me or something. I don't know. But like, well, you could do that, but at least be funny while you do it, I think. You know,
that's interesting that you bring that up, because I was watching there's this master class. It's not the official master class, but Ralphie May did this class where he was talking to a bunch of up and coming comedians at the Comedy Store. And that's the one thing he pointed out was, you have to remember, your job is to make the audience laugh. It's not to make the comics in the back laugh. It's to make the audience laugh. And I feel like, especially because I'm 5 months in, right? I do mostly open mics at this point. I feel like if you don't get out of that open mic scene and start being able to do shows, you might start picking up bad habits where you're just trying to make the comics laugh more so than
100%, dude. Another thing too about not going to different rooms is like you said, you start kind of like, okay, here's another thing. Some people get some people get discouraged. They go to the same open mics and it's the same comedians and they tell their jokes and they're like, oh, no one likes these jokes. No one's laughing. But do you never, sometimes those jokes crush. Like if you happen to get, you know, on a showcase in a room that's made for comedy, sometimes that same joke it'll kill one night. And so, yeah, like you said, it's good to work hard and try to get different comedy experience in different areas, different rooms, around different comedians. And, you know, it helps you kind of define yourself and make your, you know, material open to the most crowds, which we want, right? We want to get the most laughs, you know, like we don't want to just impress 5 people that are always going to be judging us.
Dark humor. And,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It becomes like a popularity contest a lot of times. And it's like, dude, I'm not interested in that. I want my work to stand for itself. I want to be funny or not funny. And if I'm not funny, I'm going to work to get better, you know?
Are there, I mean, because you've been doing 70 years, are there still people around who you came up with, or did a lot of them drop out of the game?
You know what? Most of the people I did that, they're still doing it. I mean, some people, of course, because I know you have to take into consideration the pandemic. Some people just because of probably like financial reasons, they probably just couldn't continue to, you know, go as hard as they were before. But a lot of people, I still see them doing things, man, and it's tight, you know, like reconnecting with them. I guess I'll get a little bit personal here.
No, please get personal. That's what brings the views in. Get as personal as you want, man.
All right. So before the pandemic, so I used to hit this place like I have to talk about my homie, dude, one of my best friends in comedy. He passed away during the pandemic, man. Frosty Nugs, right? And so that clique of people, I used to always go to Bricks every Wednesday. And during that time of my life, I was heavy into, you know, drugs and alcohol a lot. And so a lot of the comedians I was really, really close with, you know, but they were kind of in that same mentality, that same scene. And now I'm clean. You know, now I don't do drugs and alcohol. And a lot of people they're still doing comedy, and it's great. It's sometimes I feel like a personal. I feel bad that I don't reach out to them as much as I used to because it's just hard for me to be around it too much. I can go to a show or hang out at a bar every now and then, but I can't really have that type of lifestyle around me like 24/7 anymore. And so it's hard for me to, I feel bad, but I do, but you know what? I pay attention to them and I see that they're still doing things and getting booked and getting better, being funny. And I love that part of it. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad that I don't go see them every single week like I used to, you know, but I know they're all still doing great.
Do you think they understand that you're just trying to do what's best for your life because you don't want to be drinking anymore? You don't want to be doing drugs and all that?
Oh, yeah, dude. Everybody has been supportive. You know, that's something like I said, I give a little disclaimer before because I don't really talk about it that much. I have one joke on stage I do about it. It's just real quick. But yeah, everyone's hella cool about it. No one's ever made me feel weird, like, oh, yeah, Eric got soft on us or blah, blah. You know, like it's been all positive. It's been cool, man.
Are you straight edge now?
Nah, I mean, so how I phrase it is like politician style, right? Yeah. I beat my addiction to cocaine and alcohol. I never say I don't do it ever. But
and the words matter.
The words matter very much, dude. Yeah, dude, quote me properly on this, people. I beat my addiction to those substances. But once in a blue moon, you might catch me on a random, who knows when. You probably won't ever catch me in public like that. But anyway, and yeah, and here's the whole thing. We're in entertainment. Drugs and alcohol and partying, it's gonna be a part of it no matter what. I can never fully remove myself away from it. And I wouldn't even want to. I mean, some of that excitement and wildness is what adds to the whole, you know, experience. Sometimes it's just like when that one aspect becomes the main focus of all, then it's something different at that point. It's not healthy. It's not good. It's terrible. Kind of like, you know, and it's a slippery slope because addictions are addictions. And, you know, sometimes a tiny bit of a good thing becomes too much of a good thing. And now it's just a terrible thing. And so it's a crazy line of balance to walk, you know. I feel like I'm doing really, really well, but I see people struggle with it sometimes. And like for he doesn't. Okay, this is a bad segue, but one of my mentors, my best friend, Mean Dave. I mean, he doesn't struggle with it, but he's been sober for 7-8 years, and when we used to play in bands together, and we were like, seeing Dave sober now is like, I'm like, this is,
it blows your mind.
It blows my mind, right? Yeah. But it's dope. He's so much happier. He's so much healthier. He's always working. You know what I mean? So, if people can find that what's most important to them and follow that. And if it, as long as that's not like, drugs and alcohol, I think your life is gonna be more happier, more kind of fulfilling, I think.
Yeah, no, Mean Dave's awesome. I don't know. He was the episode that I released last week. He's a great guy. He's been very supportive of me. Like, he couldn't be a nicer guy.
Exactly.
It's awesome. And he's hilarious too.
And ironically, his name's Mean Dave, right? Because I was actually with him when he came up with that name. We used to be in a band called
I knew you were a musician.
Yeah,
man. Like, you have the look of a musician, dude.
I got
you
the drums and the music.
I know you got like the Lenny Kravitz thing. You don't look like him, but you got the nails and all that.
Actually, people have told me I look like
the hair's not as big as his.
They were like, "You look like Lenny Kravitz if he never did heroin." I was like, "That's accurate." Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly how I look.
Oh, man.
But I love Mean Dave, bro. Yeah, we used to be in a band called Bad Touch, and he was Mean Dave, and I was Crazy Eric, and we had those names for reasons.
You were the drummer.
I was the drummer. Yeah.
Oh,
Dave plays guitar. He's hella good guitar player, man. I have a track that we did. I used to make beats and rap and stuff. And when we're playing in that band, one time I took one of our songs from the band, remixed it, made it into a hip hop track, and it's me and Dave rapping on it, and it's pretty tight, dude. Yeah.
Can people listen to it and find it somewhere online?
Yeah. I'll post it. I'll put it up. Actually, I mean, I guess I'll plug me and Dave's show. I'm performing with me and Dave's show at Lily Max on Valentine's Day in a couple weeks. So I was going to try to do a promotion and use that song as the background because there's no copyright on it, right? I should be able to post it anywhere and get away with it. So yeah, I guess be on the lookout for that. I'll definitely play a little clip of the song in that promotion.
Were you guys both doing comedy at that time too?
No, that's a funny story. So I was hella into music, and then Dave, we were in this band. That's when Dave kind of started doing stand-up, and at the time I didn't understand it, where I was like, dude, these shows you book us on, like, we're just playing comedians on and off stage, like the Gong Show or something. And eventually I ended up quitting the band, bro. And he went on, now he's like amazing, great comedian. And maybe like 5 or 6 years I started doing it, and he's like, dude, oh yeah, because he's never let me live this down ever. When I quit his band, literally these little words, I'm like, dude, I said something about I'm leaving the band. Comedians are terrible people, and now I'm a comedian. Now I'm trying to be a cool comedian. Anytime we perform together, he always tells his audience, like, this guy, he says we're terrible people. Now he's trying to do what we do. But our irony is it's a fickle thing. But no, I love that dude to death, man.
It was he actually told me the only reason he started doing stand up was to plug his band and get more people to see the band. Yeah. And now he ended up that this is like what he does now. Dude, he's a full-on comedian.
That makes sense.
And he's doing great.
Because you know what? He was getting us a lot of gigs. I have to admit, like, I mean, we were playing a lot of comedy shows, and comedians would be around for a lot during that time. But that was a sound, if that was his end goal, it was working. I have to admit, I should have stuck through it, and I should have stayed in the band, dude. I miss playing music. Like, always. Before I switched into doing comedy and writing, in my mind I always thought I'd have a musical career some way, some shape or form. Thank you so much, appreciate it. And but later on when I started deciding, I was like, I want to go to an open mic, I want to try this. And I realized, but comedy in itself has always been like my main. That's really me in life, like comedy though. I love music too. To be honest, the reason I started doing comedy is because I had an idea. I wanted to produce a cartoon series. Yeah, and I wanted. I'm not an animator or an artist, but I wanted to write it and voice act. And I was like, let me go meet comedians to be the voices, maybe help write it. And then I just started falling in love with doing comedy on my own. But eventually, one day in life, that is my main kind of personal project goal in life. I want to produce a cartoon series. Yeah.
Oh, really? What's the premise of the cartoon?
So I'm thinking about. So I grew up
copyright. Let's steal this.
Yeah,
exactly. This is February 5. This is Eric Newton saying his idea for a cartoon.
Exactly. I will hunt you down, bro. I'll get royalties. I'll get some money out of this. You steal my ideas. Yeah. No, so I grew up in this area, in Newark. I grew up right up the street on Thornton, and so I used to be in Newark or Fremont a lot. Anyway. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? And at that time, I mean, you guys can tell. You see, I'm always into I'm into everything, and I'm not ashamed of it. And so growing up in the 90s, I would listen to rock, I would skateboard, and people were like, that is so weird for a black dude. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are missing out. But like, the Green Day is fire. I mean, I still listen to Wu-Tang and Nas and all the cool black stuff too.
Yeah, well, dude, when Green Day came out with Basket Case, that album, there's like a bolt of lightning out of nowhere.
Yeah,
right?
dude, blew my mind. Dude,
Yeah.
Nirvana, like there's cool stuff going on. And so basically, I was thinking I wanted to do like a cartoon series about maybe somebody that has this is something that shows people like, dude, just be yourself, dude. Like, don't limit yourself and don't make yourself fall into like a small box because people around you think you should be in that box, you know, because that's what I kind of had to learn on my own. And now, like, you know, heck, years later in life, now it's actually starting to benefit me, you know, especially being in entertainment, but even in like personal relationships. I work in tech, and you know, that was something I probably wouldn't have, you know, been driven towards to try if I would always been like, oh, that's not me. I got some hood shit. I gotta work this type of job. All, you know, like just limiting yourself in any way, I don't think is good. And if I had a cartoon series, somehow that would be like one of the main driving things for the story
see
plot.
you being animated as a cartoon. Right? I think you would look great as a cartoon. I could absolutely see that.
That'd be fire.
Yeah, but what would you call it?
Oh man, I don't have a name for it. Okay, I'll give this idea, and I swear this is something I actually plan on producing within the next year. And it's along the same lines. So I have an idea to produce a series of children's books, right? And basically the main character, her name is Francesca Jr. All right, I can explain that in a minute. She has a best friend named Atari, and she has this cat named Sterling. All right. Anyway, the thing is, like, there's small, like, mini mysteries in her mind. Like, Francesca Jr., she has a strong sense of justice and like things should be right. So she solves like little to what her and her mind are like huge mysteries. So for instance, in the first story is how she gets introduced to her cat Sterling, and basically things start missing around the house, and the parents, they don't know what's going on. And anyway, throughout the little tiny story, she comes to realize, oh, this cat is pregnant and she's stealing food for the cat. Like, the cat's not bad. We just need to figure out what's happening. You know, so she solved the mystery. And the next story, she meets her friend Atari, and like they're both new at this school, and people are accusing Atari of like stealing their lunch. Like, oh, so this lunch is missing. You're the new kid. You must have taken it. She's like, no, that doesn't make sense. And she comes to find out, like, hey, he couldn't have taken it. He's allergic to peanuts. It was a peanut butter sandwich. He would have never stole it. So there'll be little stories like that, right? She's like a little tiny, you know, investigator or reporter kind of, and she wants to. She has social justice type of ideas that motivate her to do things in these stories. Yeah, I want to call that series Francesca Jr. because that's what Francesca. The reason I came up with that name is my auntie and my cousin, her daughter, they're both named Francesca, and I was like, that's weird. They don't call females junior.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For some reason. Yeah. You know, I was like, I don't know why. It doesn't seem fair, but or whatever. So I was like, oh, this character is going to be about fairness, and you know, it kind of falls back into the lines of the cartoon. Eventually, I want to do where, like, you know, just being outside the box. Don't be what people expect you to be, but that's who you really are. If that's who you really are, that's fine. Love it. But you know, I feel like sometimes people don't get encouraged enough to, you know, I know there's a fascination of being unique and individual, but it comes out like very cookie cutter, and it's like, dude, be really like authentic to yourself as much as you possibly can, and it's okay that we're slightly different. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that. Well, first, I could definitely see that being like a Netflix cartoon series.
Yeah,
the way you're describing it, it's like, oh, I already see it in my mind because I'm the filmmaker, right? So I was like,
oh, tight.
Oh, yeah. I could see how that works. No, but I like that you brought up the cookie cutter thing, because I remember, like, in my 20s, I was doing martial arts, wushu in particular, the stuff you see in the Matrix, right? Mm-hmm. And there was this one dude who was trying so hard to be unique. Yeah. You know, he had the gauge earrings and everything too. Yeah. And like, I remember I would bring something up that was more mainstream, and he would get on my case. Oh man, why don't you be more fucking unique? You know, he was like, so look at you, man. You're dressed exactly like your friend too. You're not that unique, dude. You're doing the exact same thing, just in a different category. Dude, for me, it's like, I'm just gonna like what I like. I don't care if it's mainstream or whatever.
Dude, that's another good point you're touching on is people like, oh, I'm so unique, but then they use it to like put other people down. It's like what? That's terrible, dude. Like, I just like being me. I just make me better than anybody. I just enjoy the stuff I like.
I'll give you like a clear example of something I like that's super mainstream and people give me shit about. It's actually why this podcast is called Color Me Mike.
Okay, yeah.
I was big into Color Me Bad.
Dude, I want to sex you up.
Yeah.
Bro, dude, I'll let you finish, but I have to talk about this in a second. Yeah.
I was trying to think of a name for the podcast. At first, I was going to call it like a Boba with Mike, but I was trying to think long term. Well, you know, if this really grows and I end up getting all studio, like, this the boba thing's still gonna work, like popping out, right? Yeah. So I gotta think of something that's gonna work no matter what happens.
That's good.
And I know Joe Rogan Experience is because he loves the Jimi Hendrix Experience, right? Yeah. So I was thinking, okay, you know, what band can I like name this after? And I was like, oh, Color Me Bad. Dude, Color Me Mike. There we go.
That is so dope, like, dude. First of all. Dude, I've been trying to think of a way to talk. You don't understand how much I love 90s R&B, blood. Like, dude, it's my guiltiest of guilty pleasures. First of all, but dude, I also have another idea. So I play hella Animal Crossing, blood. I'm just gonna say it. Hella Animal Crossing, and I've been thinking about these series of short videos I want to do, like music videos. And the first one I wanted to do was I Want to Sex You Up by Color Me Bad, because I realized. Like on Instagram and YouTube, you can if you make a story and you can use their music because it's like they have the royalties for it. It's like, oh, if I just make like 15-second videos and just use their music, I could share it without any copyright. And I was like, oh, dude, I'll just make 90s music videos out of Animal Crossing footage. And dude, I don't have a name for it yet, but
there you go. That's your TikTok content right there.
Dude,
yeah,
that's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know that's something.
And it's gonna be, dude. I Color Me Bad, dude. Bruh, I promise you, dude. I'll listen to that song at least 2 or 3 times a week to this day, blood. That's not a lie,
man,
dude.
They were great, man.
Dude,
they had great harmonies. I remember I was in
hella inclusive, hella diversity.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
Dude.
Yeah. I was in 5th grade. I remember my friend. He had this big crush on this girl named Monique. And he wanted to write her a poem. I was like, you know what, man? I got you covered, dude. I'll take care of it. And all I did was write the lyrics to All for Love from Color Me Bad.
Dude, I mean, that's fire for a 5th-year-old to be spitting that kind of game. Bro, I swear to God, in 6th grade, I went to summer camp and I made a mixtape. And dude, of course, that song was on there. I Want to Sex You Up. Tenderoni by Bobby Brown.
Oh,
all those slow jam hits from those years, dude. I still love that stuff, blood. I still rock it, bro. Like, it's crazy.
You know, there's this great series on Netflix. It's called This Is Pop. I don't know if you watch it, but they have an episode on Boys to Men, because you know Boys to Men, Color Me Bad. They came out like in that same era, right? And because Boys to Men like really blew up with that album too, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
But then after that, they just really went down. That third album just didn't hit with the audience, right? And they follow like their decline and all they went through until eventually they kind of found their footing as a Vegas act.
Oh, okay.
All right. But it's like, I remember how big Boys to Men were.
Dude,
you know?
It was like
that was my high school days, you know? It's like,
dude, so hard to say goodbye. That's everybody's prom at that time, dude.
End of the road.
End of the road.
Oh my God.
Those songs were at, dude, high schools all over America, dude, for years. Bro,
On Bended Knee, man.
Dude, I love one of my hugest influences, dude. I was like, New Edition.
Oh,
and then, dude, all of them, they all went on to have hella successful careers after New Edition. Dude, Belle Biv DeVoe, Johnny Gill, Trevor, Bobby Brown. I'm like, dude, so yeah, there were some like real R&B like boy bands, like super groups at that time, dude. Like,
yeah, they are a boy band.
The only thing even close nowadays is like probably like K-pop bands.
Yeah,
but like most Americans that they don't understand like that boy band, like, and they're like R&B, like singing, dance, but at the root they were boy bands. But that, dude, the 80s and 90s, they were like, it was like the best they were ever gonna be in America.
Do you remember when a New Edition came back in '96?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
dude,
they came out with that one slow jam. What's the name of that song?
I don't know, dude.
I hear it in my head, but
Yeah.
I love that. I remember because I sang it to a girl at a party. Oh yeah, I pull out all the tricks, dude. I was like, okay,
dude, all your romantic moves are plagiarism, bro. Like, what's
Yep, exactly. No originality at all. Well, you know what? That's your typical like Filipino music artist. Like Filipinos in the Philippines, all cover bands, cover songs. They play live music, but they do it really well.
Yeah, isn't there like a huge like who was that band? Don't Stop Believing.
Oh, Journey, the lead singer. He sings exactly like Steve Perry.
And I hear like this, like that's it, dude.
It's big in the Philippines.
I didn't know you were Filipino, but I feel like that's why our connection, bro. Because like I don't know, Filipinos, like dude, I grew up in Newark, Union City, like and like just all Filipinos. We all play basketball together, and we all listen to hip hop, and like so I was always like, dude, and I don't know, you guys fuck with chicken, lumpia, all the good stuff, blood. Like, that's tight.
Well, that's what people don't know. I don't know if it's true anywhere else, but here in the Bay Area, Filipinos are second string black.
Dude, hell, dude, you guys are definitely on my squad for sure. Not even second string, bro. I'll definitely start you guys with some of my actual black friends. Yeah, it's all good.
I have to give credit to that tag to Tony Sparks, since he's the one who said it. I did a show where he was hosting, and after my set, he's like, "Oh, you could have believed this motherfucker. We all know Filipino second string black. This guy's up here talking about fucking white women and all this shit." I was like,
dude, Filipinos do hella fine, thick women. I guess I'm gonna get a little bit weird here. My favorite type of woman though, chubby Korean chicks. Hella fine, blood. Like, I don't know if that's so adorable, bro. Like, dude, I don't know why. Okay, here's another thing. All right. Korean fried chicken, best chicken in the world, dude. I just got this joke where I talk about KFC being the best chicken. Everyone's like, no. I'm like, dude, Korean fried chicken, blood. But no, for real, dude. Give me a chubby Korean chick any day, any time, blood.
How chubby are we talking though?
Dude, I can go pretty chubby, bro.
Yeah,
I mean,
to the point where it's fat.
I'm not mad. What's up?
To the point where they're fat.
I can go fat. Korean fat chick. Fat woman. I still love it. I still love it, bro.
Have you been with a fat woman before?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Plenty of times.
I tried it once. It's not for me, man. It's not for me. You know? So I was at that point where it's like,
wait. Did you have sex with the lady?
Yeah.
Just try it, or because you liked her, or like you're just like, I need to check this off a list,
or
what?
Yeah, I was kind of like checking it off of a list. I mean, actually it was even worse than that, to be honest. I was going through this. It's like my early 20s. I was going through this phase in my life where I kind of started realizing I wasn't the nice person that I thought I was. So it's like, I was very superficial. So you know what? Let me just go the complete opposite track.
Yeah.
All right. Let me try to do that. So that's when I hooked up with this fat girl. Yeah. And then that's when I just realized it's really not for me. It's like, you know what? There's nothing wrong with needing to be physically attracted to someone. It's not the only thing you look for.
Yeah.
But the worst part is that I told her that was the reason why I was with her, was I was just trying it out. Because, I was just... It really wasn't for me. I was really looking for a way out. And at the end of the day, I just told her the truth.
Yeah. Wow.
And she was pissed, dude. I mean, not surprisingly. She said, I'm not a fucking experiment, Mike. And you know what? She's right. Yeah. Well, she kind of was to me, but... But, I shouldn't treat a person like that. And, And I remember I received an email from her months later, and it was this poem that she wrote about how much she hated me. But I remember just really being impressed with it because everything
right. Like, this is some Spice One lyrics. Like, what? You didn't write this. You can't hate nobody like this. This is Brother Lynch. Brother, you can't hate anybody this much. It was one time.
But I remember it was more than one time. I really tried. I really tried. That's why I knew.
Oh wow!
It really wasn't for me. I made sure.
Oh, dude.
But I remember
due diligence. I respect that. I respect that.
But I remember being impressed with the fact that everything rhymed. I was like, oh shit, because I tried writing poetry before. I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, this is really good.
You still got bars.
Yeah. So if it wasn't all about hating me, but it's like,
did you keep it?
No, I deleted it. No, I did. It was a Hotmail email account. I don't know. I'm sure it's. I don't know if it's still.
Account.
Yeah. I don't know if it's. Does Hotmail even exist still?
No, I don't think so, dude.
There's no way those servers are still up, right?
I would. You know what though? Every now and then I do get an AOL email address, dude. So who knows? So there's probably like 10 people somewhere that keep it running somehow for some reason. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I know like people in Arizona do still subscribe to AOL. Like that's the internet connection. What? That is crazy. That's like mid 90s when that came out, and people are still running on that.
For real. I mean, first of all, who has a CD drive to even install AOL anymore?
Yeah.
You know, like you have to have a mailbox and a CD-ROM to install this. I'm like, nah, to get email? Like this seems a bit outdated. This seems dark ages.
Yeah, so I think we're probably close to the same age then. We're
I'm 43.
Yeah, I'm 41. So we're definitely in the same.
You know what's even better? We don't look anything like we look like our 20s,
I know.
bro.
Well, there you go. Black don't crack. You all know about Asians.
Dude, black don't crack, but you know what? Every day I'm a little more gray. So yeah, that's
well,
me
that's
being
the
honest.
thing. We can't do anything about that,
Can't
but the
do it.
skin stays nice and tight and taut.
Dude.
But I remember like those early days of I feel like I was the last person to jump on because I remember it was really in my senior year of high school when online chatting started. Right? It was like 98, 99. I remember these are the early days of the internet, right? Yeah. I would go to school the next day, and I had my one friend, Tony. He was telling me, oh, man, I was up all night, online. Yeah. And I didn't know he was talking about online chatting. So it's like, dude, there's like 10 websites online. Like, what the fuck are you doing online all night, dude? And then he finally told me, it's like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. And then I remember when I finally installed Instant Messenger, right?
Yeah.
It unlocked the whole world for me. It's like, oh my God, I could be talking to 5 different girls and I'm just here in my room, in a chair. Yeah. You could really play the numbers game, and really.
Exactly. Dude, so like, one of the very first internet service we had in our house was Netscape.
Netscape. Netscape. There was a lot of them back then. Yeah.
But then later on, like when you said like high school time, and then more like kind of online dating that was going on, I remember only maybe like twice or a few times when Craigslist was a thing. I hooked up on Craigslist a couple of times with some sketchy ass scenarios I shouldn't even. That was even before I started even doing drugs and alcohol. I was a horny, adolescent blood. It's like I was like, what? I could do this? Well, you'll meet me here.
I know, it was amazing, right?
Dude, it was crazy. Yeah, it was dude. I was like, I thought that was the epitome of the internet at the time. I'm like, there's nothing. This is like life now, bro. Like, but yeah, it's a completely whole new world now, dude. Now that's in my phone. Yeah. It's like, I'm not talking to like 50 people at once. Like it's ridiculous.
Well, what's amazing is the evolution of quote unquote online dating. Because back in those early days when AIM came out, there was still that stigma of meeting someone online. It's like, you're such a fucking loser. You have to meet a girl online. You can't meet them in real life.
You're right.
But I remember in those early days, it was only really the freaks that were online. Yep. They were good times, man. It's like, the freaks were online, dude.
Yeah.
But over the years, it became more mainstream, and now it's totally acceptable to meet someone on an app.
Yeah. Oh, right? 100%, dude. Yeah. Just like along those same lines, dude. It's like the other day, out of nowhere, I put it on that TV show Catfish, but it's like the UK version, right? And I'm thinking, dude, I'm like, these people are almost falling for these same scams from like, from 1998.
Oh, that's funny.
But I mean, but now the scammers are the ones that are like super like they're super advanced in how they scam people because, like you said, now they know like, oh, so many people are so okay with trying to meet online, and that is because you're already in a vulnerable position. You're trying to find love online, so it makes a perfect breeding ground for these people to come steal money. But here's my thing, dude. Sometimes I see these catfishes on that show, dude. The person's not trying to steal money. They're not trying to get sex, and they'll catfish this person for like 8 fucking years, blood. I'm like, who has this amount of free time? Like, I'm offended that you can run this. I guess I don't know if it's a joke or what. And they're not trying to get laid. They're not trying to steal money. Why are you wasting this person for 8 fucking years, dude? Like, that's crazy to me. It's crazy to me too that someone can even like stay interested in. Like, if I don't meet a person after, I don't know, pretty soon, I'm like, this person's not interested in me. I don't really care. We're never gonna meet. And it's the whole game of not game, but the whole universe of interacting online is still, even though it's like it's so advanced from when it was, it's still hella alien for some reason, dude. Like, it's weird,
that's funny that you brought up that story because I know someone that happened to them.
No way.
Yeah. It wasn't It wasn't 8 years. It was probably like a year or something.
But
This dude was in the Air Force.
Still long, though, dude.
But I'll tell you, maybe this will shed some light on why it happened. This dude was on the Air Force, and he was talking to this woman in the. I spent my 20s overseas in the Philippines. Okay, so he was talking to some girl in the Philippines, and they were sending texts every day, all day, just they're essentially in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when he finally came to visit her, one, it turned out she didn't look like the way she looked. Yeah. She actually sent her friend's photo.
Yep.
Two, she was already married.
Dang.
Okay, and it turned out this woman was just really unhappy in her marriage, and she found this relationship with this good-looking guy in the Air Force, and so
that actually does shed light. That
makes sense. So it's like that was her outlet. She found this connection with the guy, but she was trapped in her marriage, and she felt self-conscious. Like this guy was good looking. She didn't feel great about herself. I was like, man,
that's like you said, that's interesting too, because that also it goes into that realm of like emotional cheating, right? Where it's like sometimes I would kind of fall into the dating apps. I'd be dating a girl, but like, I'm just kind of flirting with these girls online. It's like, but then eventually at a point it does kind of cross a line, even if you don't meet them or have sex with them, even just like you said, at a point it is a relationship. Right now there's a connection here, and if you have somebody else on the side that has no idea about it, now it's like you are cheating. Like you are like you. Yeah, it's like you are being double faced.
I could tell you for sure that's how women feel about it.
Yeah. I mean,
they definitely look at that as cheating for sure. I can tell you.
I mean, I guess in the court of law, until it's defined, I would say, hey, I didn't cheat. Yeah. But and deep down, I know I did though. Emotionally.
Yeah, because for guys, it's like, hey, I didn't stick my dick at her. I wasn't cheating. Yeah, that's what it is. But I would say, if it's an ongoing thing, definitely, right? If you guys are messaging each other all the time, and what's understood, there's a little bit more of a connection than just friends here.
Exactly, dude. So what happened with your friend? I mean, with like crush and stuff, or
because he went there just to visit her in the Philippines, and she just came up with excuse after excuse of why they couldn't meet. Until eventually, like he got pissed, and and she felt really bad, and then that's when the truth came out, and they met, and he wasn't really crushed because he was a horn dog too. So while he was in the Philippines, I was taking him out and showing him the time of his life. But you can't help but be disappointed because he really did like this girl. I mean, as much as you can say, even though he was having a good time with me, going around, but he came there just to see her.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's a plane ticket, dude, passport. That's a big thing, and like to find out, like, dude, this whole thing was fake. Dude, like, that's messed up, man. Like,
it makes me think of those like early days of AIM, Instant Messenger. Because I remember in those days, it was hard to get a picture of a person that you're chatting with.
I'll say back then it was like hard to verify that this. Back then it was almost like a straight up leap of faith. Like those times, I hooked up with like someone I met a person tonight on Craigslist. I'm meeting you tonight in real life. It's like I have no idea. I could get robbed, dude. It could be a setup. It was hella hard to verify people back then. Now it's I would say a tiny bit safer, and like you could feel safer about it, but it's still a shot in the dark a lot of times.
Do you ever try OkCupid?
I did. Oh yeah.
Because I used to work in video games.
Oh yeah,
and
me too,
all my coworkers were telling me that was a gold mine. I was already dating my wife at this point, so I never got to partake. But I was always curious because the guys who work in video games are not exactly gigolos. So the fact that they're telling me it's a gold mine,
I know.
It's like, oh, this really has to be something.
Real quick, I still work in QA, but I used to test games for hell. Me and Dave too. He used to work at Sony. I worked at Sony first party.
Oh, I heard Sony was a horrible company to work for.
It wasn't cool, dude. Like, contractors versus perms, dude. Like that whole. Where did you work at?
So I worked for Cryptic Studios.
Oh, dude, tight, dude.
Yeah, I worked.
A couple of times I interviewed there, and I forget the guy's name. I used to know. Dude, he was like a sound engineer there. He worked on like oh man, Legacy of Kane and like and stuff. But anyway, that's tight, dude. Right on. Yeah, that's dope.
That's amazing how many parallels we have that I didn't even realize.
I know. And it's weird too because usually in the Bay Area, like if people work in the game industry, you usually meet them.
Yeah,
we usually end up knowing everybody.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I mean, that was like a different lifetime ago. I was only in it from 2010 to 2013.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
For me, like
Cool.
because I was a QA, I was in the QA dungeon too.
Yeah,
I was remember there's a difference between black box testing and white
yeah.
box testing.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember which was which?
Yeah,
I can't-
so black box is basically kind of like a retail kit, most closer to what customers will have at their house, and then you might have a blue or a white box, more like developer kit. Like it was definitely not something you would buy like at Best Buy. Like users would never get it, so it's kind of like we can test different types of builds that are still in development on those types of kits versus like this one's only going to run like a retail version or stuff. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, so I started out as a black box tester for Atari actually, because Atari
I
owned
worked there too.
Atari owned Cryptic Studios at that time. I was QAing Test Drive Unlimited too.
Yeah, dude.
I did
Dude,
this.
I worked on test. Dude, so my bad. Dude, my first test job, I worked at Infogrames, who later on got bought by Atari, and I ended up working on like some test drive games, dude, like Test Drive 5. But when I worked at Infogrames, it was when I first started at Infogrames, it was in San Jose. Then when we became Atari, we ended up moving to Santa Clara, like kind of over by like Great America. But dude, that's crazy. We should do an episode about games one day or something, dude.
Or even just like the life of a QA tester.
Yeah,
People.
Okay, so I was always thinking there should be a comedy TV series about QA, dude. It's like it's almost like a frat house made into like a tech business. QA groups are just all of them I worked in characters beyond. I don't know. I used to at one point in my QA or when I was a QA tester, sometimes I'd have to interview people, and sometimes people would come in. I'd be like, "What makes you want to be in QA?" They're like, "I saw the movie Grandma's Boy."
Yes, exactly.
I would never hire that person.
Yeah,
But I'm like, "Nope, dude." It's like
they didn't get it. They didn't capture it at all. Yeah.
But I understand why something like Grandma's Boy is made because the experience of QA is funny and it could be presented to people like this is ridiculous, but people that think like it's not a job for everybody at all though.
Do you remember there was a reality show where it's a competition?
Yeah. I think Sony made it, right?
Yeah, the prize was you're gonna be a QA tester, and of course everyone already works QA. Like, oh, what a bullshit prize, man! You're gonna work so hard to be a QA tester.
Yeah.
It is not what you. There's no glory involved in it. It's completely thankless. You're treated as a second-class citizen.
Dude, it constantly reminds you like you are nothing here, bro.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about QA? Because I'm still in QA. I don't test video games anymore. But here's the constant battle with QA. And like, dude, sometimes like I want to tell people they'll complain about an app like, oh, I can't believe this. It's like, dude, I bet you someone in QA found that some product manager was like, we don't have time to fix it, or not enough users complain about it. We're not going to fix it. But here's the thing, like in QA, our job is to tell them this is broken, this doesn't work, don't do this, and we get so much in trouble for that. They're like, why are you guys telling? And this has to come out today. I'm like, I didn't say when it comes out. I just say if it works or not.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like we get in trouble for doing what we're supposed to do, But now I've been doing it for so long. I'm just like, who cares? I put the bug in. I let people know, and someone above me decides is it getting fixed or not.
So you're a software QA or something.
Yeah. So I test streaming apps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a tier above, games QA. I'm assuming at least you get paid better.
Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say so video game QA. Yeah,
that's like the lowest of the low.
They do not treat those employees well at all, dude. I did it for years, working contracts. And dude, they even set it up so the workers fight against each other because everyone's trying to get that one perm spot. Yeah. Everybody's like, I want to try. So it's a hella backstabbing, hella like clicks, and like so I hated that part of it. So that's what the thing that made me stay at a lot of those, QA teams for so long was because of the coworkers. You meet the cool people. You're like, this dude's cool. I can show up to work every day because I like talking to this dude. This girl's hella funny. She's a good tester. Stuff like that was like what made it work. But the actual job, the environment, these companies, like. They make it really hard for QA testers, and they kind of tote that carrot like, hey, you have an easy job. We're giving you money to do this, but it's like, dude, we're doing a real job for you, bro. Yeah. You can't release these games without QA, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your company would be ruined if you try to put this game out and no one ever tested it. You would lose every cent you ever had. But it sucks that they make us, try to act like we're so lucky to even be there, Yeah,
especially like at that time, like 2010 was a time where it was really hard to get a job, you know. Yeah, it's
dude,
like you
for
would
real.
need like 3-4 years experience just to get an entry level job. So they would they
Yeah.
would put that in front of your face. Hey, at least you have a job. You should be happy.
Dude,
Who cares
for
if it's
real.
just contract work? It's like,
Yeah.
no, man, you need to pay me more. You need to give me benefits.
Exactly. And dude, here's the thing too about QA. People don't realize, dude, summertime to Christmas is all overtime, dude. We're working 60, 70 hours a week. Whatever, dude, we get overtime pay. But dude, that's like time away from your family. Like you can't, but a lot of those people are students. They actually have to go to class, and it becomes really hard. I'm like, dude, if every week we have to do overtime to do this, that means your system is broken, dude. There needs to be a way to make your development so everyone works regular, like 8-hour days, everybody. Like not like, oh, QA is going to be here for 60 hours every week because they're young and they don't have much to do and they're lucky to have this job. It's like, dude, fix your production schedule so we're not burning ourselves out and also feeling like we're hated for doing it anyway. I don't know, dude. It was crazy, bro.
Oh yeah, I used to get in trouble over there at Cryptic Studios because they would bring in the queue, because I got more into white box testing by the end, where I actually had to dive into the tools.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that, right? And they would bring like me and a few other QA members, depending on because I worked on Neverwinter, online. Yeah.
Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah. So they would bring us into design meetings to give feedback, and they would just get so pissed at me for giving design feedback. It's like, hey, you guys fucking asked me to be here, right? If anything, I represent your common gamer.
Yeah.
And I remember every time I told them something, not only would they get pissed off at me, but they would kind of look down on me. It's like, oh, we're never going to fucking do that.
Oh, my
And then
God,
wouldn't you know it? A month later, they had to implement what I said. It's like, I fucking told you. I fucking told you that would make the game better,
Yeah.
It's like, but
Dude.
that's the life of a QA guy in the video game industry. For people who don't know, it's really,
Dude.
they don't take you seriously. You get paid low.
It's like a thankless job, and we have to like fight to even get the work done that they want us to do for them, dude.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, bro.
So what made you finally get out of the video game industry?
Yeah, I was, what, to be honest with you, it really just came down to money. I was like, it's weird. So people probably don't think, but like, you tested like console and like PC games.
Yeah, I started off on console, then moved over to PC.
Same here. And then eventually, as technology, eventually mobile game testing started paying way more. So eventually, I have been working at this company, Perfect World, and
you worked at Perfect World.
Yeah, Perfect World. I was the localization tester.
Was a QA manager there? His name was John, big fat Filipino dude. I don't know if you were there at the same time.
I don't know if I meant John.
Oh yeah, because Perfect.
Do you know like June Kim and like?
No, because Perfect World ended up buying Cryptic Studios.
Oh wow, dude.
Yeah, and I remember we had like this big gathering when we were bought. Everyone said everyone could mingle. And I remember
they always do that, dude.
Yeah, but I remember like specifically, there's a lot of hot girls working at Perfect World. What is going on with their recruiting practices here, dude?
So like our parent company was in China. Like we had an office in Beijing and one in Shanghai. And yeah, anytime it was like an actual corporate thing, it was very much like that type of culture. And yeah, they bring some women around, bro. Like, dude, spending money, bro. Like there are some fantastic and great things about working in the video game industry that I would never. There were some experiences I would just never have if not. As hard as I don't want to make it sound like I was a slave for 12 years. Like there was some fun stuff, and every now and then that was the cool thing about being inside that video game industry, especially in those years. That was like video games were kind of like really really blowing up. Like the whole world's looking at it. It's like art and it's entertainment, and everybody wants to get their fingers in it. It was exciting at those times. But yeah, eventually it just came down to economics. I'm like, dude, I need to make money. Mobile game testing was paying more, and eventually what happened was along the way I made connections with friends, and I had friends that had gone to different types of. I had friends at MLB.com. They're like, hey, we need testers. It's not game testing, but you're just be testing streams. It'll be kind of somewhat similar. And yeah, now I moved into that, and I've been falling.
Well, you were one of the lucky ones then.
Very lucky.
Yeah, because a lot of people just stay in that QA dungeon in the video game industry, and so I mean, because that's why I eventually got out, because actually I was stabbed in the back 2 times over there at Cryptic. One time I came very close to landing, going up to a producer.
Yeah.
Right, and then last minute, the executive vice president brought in his guy, and there goes the producer.
Dude.
Yeah. I was.
Happens so much. You like the refusal to hire up from within. Dude, is like it's so gross in the video game industry, dude. Like people that just like blood, sweat, and tears for years. They already know the job. It's like, dude, I'm the most qualified for this job. Why wouldn't you want me to do this job? Type of thing.
You know what was the most fucked up is I had a friend in QA. He was working on another game of Cryptic Studios, which is, should I be talking this much trash about the Cryptic Studios and naming them out loud? It's like,
we've definitely said Cryptic Studios a number of times.
Okay, but I won't say what game is like.
Okay.
To be fair, I don't know if Cryptic Studios is still run like this. I'll say that. Okay, I'll say that. That'll save me right there. Right.
That's true.
Okay, but at that time, he was a one-man QA team. Right? He wasn't. The QA lead had resigned to go to another company. So he was doing everything by himself.
Yeah.
And he was doing it well for like at least 2 months. Yeah. And then it came time to hire a QA lead, and they didn't want to just give it to him. They still looked to hire outside. Dude. The guy had been doing it successfully for 2 months, but that's the way it worked. Dude. That's just the way it was.
I got to tell this story. I'll try to leave names out. I had a similar experience, bro. I used to work at this mobile game company, and I had this dude. She was the best QA manager I've ever had in my entire life, dude. She was amazing. We were a small QA group. It was like her. We had maybe like 3 or 4 other QA people. It's a mobile app. One day she brings us in. She's like, "Hey, tomorrow I'm not going to be your manager anymore. They're bringing in some new guy." We're like, "What? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you talking about?" She's like, "Yeah." Same thing, like they offer me this, or they're gonna move me to this position. They just want me to train him for a while, and she's like, I also want to tell you, my gut reaction is, I don't think you guys are gonna like this guy that much. We're like, we'll give him a chance, dude. This guy turned out to be the not even the worst manager, the worst human being.
Oh my god!
I've never, so many days I was just gonna quit instead of going to work. I'm like, I can't deal with this dude as my manager one more day, dude. And when she maybe he lasted first of all, she trained this guy, everyone tried to do their best to help him. He's like, okay, does his own thing anyway. They don't give her the job. She the higher position they promised her, so she leaves the company. So now we're just stuck with this dude. This dude he proves to everybody he's a complete idiot. He can't do anything. They fire him like 2 months in, and it's like, dude, like, why management in video game companies? It's like they make no sense, dude. Like, how are these people? How are they successful, dude? And why do they get to make the decisions? They continuously make the worst decisions, but their companies never fold. I don't get it, dude. I don't get it.
The way
it's
I look at it is it's very similar to comedy too, because in the video game industry, you have people who basically didn't socialize and grew up staying in their own rooms and doing their own thing, and you really see it reflected in the work environment,
dude, for
right?
Real.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing in comedy too, because like comics, we're all, to a certain extent, we all don't function normally in society. It's that fucked up part of us that makes us funny, but it also, it's a spectrum, it can make us, hard to deal with it. There's a lot of, you see it reflected, in dealing with it. Yeah, so it's like, so it helped me like expecting that. But even then, I still like, God damn, man, there's some shitty people in comedy, dude.
Dude, you're right, dude. You're right. There's a lot of parallels. And it's interesting, like, that me and Dave had so many like similar work experiences. He was the first person I ever knew as a game tester. I didn't even think that was a job you could get, right? So I was and then into the music, into comedy, and I think that's why I'm drawn to these experiences, these environments, is because of the people in it, dude. Like I said, a lot of times I stay at those testing jobs. I met some of the greatest people I'll ever know. And I had the honor of meeting in some of these test labs and some of working these late hours, and even and the developers too. I've met cool product managers and designers. since it draws in the type of people that are fun and cool to be around, but it still sucks that most of the time the person at the top making the decisions is not like us at all, and doesn't even know what our experience is, even though we do all the work that makes their money. They have nothing. They don't know us for some reason. And you're right. It's like they're so compartmentalized away from us on purpose that they can't. It's weird, dude. Like it's messed up. You're right. There are hella parallels, dude, to comedy and the game industry in particular.
Okay, so we're at 1 hour already. I'm trying to cap these at 1 hour to make them more digestible.
Cool.
Eric, where can people find your stand-up dates?
Dude, okay. So if you happen to be in the Bay Area, next Tuesday, I'm at Neck of the Woods. Monday after that.
I can tell you right now, this episode is probably going to come out weeks from now. So I want to say don't say specific dates, but where can they find your dates?
Awesome. It's easy to find me anywhere at I am Eric Newton. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's where I post all material I'm working on. I promote for shows. So yeah, just look up at I am Eric Newton. Pretty much on all the cool popular social sites. I got stuff there for everybody. Cool.
I definitely need to have you back because we didn't even get to touch Suicide Squad and comics and all that. Oh my
god, I can talk to you all day. Now that I know
we share so many experiences. It's crazy.
Homie, this has been an honor, dude. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here, man. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Hey, guys. So thanks for tuning into the podcast. And a big thanks again to the fine folks at Sonity for letting us record the podcast here and for hooking us up with their delicious boba milk tea drinks. My wife, Chris, and I review boba milk tea spots all over the Bay Area. Believe me when I say that Sonity is definitely one of the best boba milk tea shops around. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at SAN as in Nancy, and as in Nancy again, A19, that's sana.na19 on Instagram. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to hit that follow/subscribe button and make sure to give us a 5-star rating to give us some algorithm love. Okay? Thanks for listening.